Hello. In this episode of Aswatona podcast, you will meet Mazen Deng Shirilo. Mazen or Deng is a podcaster from Sudan who has a lot to share about challenges in his home country and how podcasting can be a tool to tackle them. Let's hear from him.
My name is Deng Shirilu. Also, Mazen is a different name. I came from two different parents, one from South Sudan, my father from South Sudan, my mother from Northern Sudan. So that's why, like, I have two names. But at the same time, I grew up in Khartoum, in Sudan. My childhood was, and it wasn't that of a special childhood. We grew up in like a normal neighborhood where like the most thing that we do is like running, playing football. Since then, my passion started with doing sports in general. Since 2020, I started podcasting, and of course the idea came from sports in general. And then through Aswatna, through a lot of stuff, then it's going to be transferred into different sectors, different stories, and yeah, and so on. I'm in Abu Dhabi now, United Arab Emirates. How I ended up here, it's a really long story. Like, we've took a lot of buses, airplanes, airports. So I came out from Khartoum. I traveled a little bit like south of Khartoum, which, like, this place was a little bit quieter and there wasn't any fight there. And then suddenly, after a couple of weeks, this place also became a danger for us, so we couldn't stay there. So I took my family. We went to another city called Madani, which is like 3 hours from Khartoum. We stayed there for 1 week, and then from there we went to a place called Kosti. It's another state as well. And then from Kosti to Rank. Rank is the beginning of South Sudan. So we stayed there for 4 days, and then from there we took a cargo airplane. Then we flew to Juba, South Sudan. And then from Juba, South Sudan, I flew to Kampala. I stayed there for also 1 day, and then after 1 day, I made it to the UAE. So it was like a long journey, but Alhamdulillah. So this is how I ended up here, UAE. I think we as Sudanese, there is a lot of stuff that we should work on. So this is what inspires me to talk about or to tackle like social issues. We as Sudanese, we need to socialize more. We need to know each other more. Because like Sudan is full of tribes, and in each tribes, or most of them, everyone thinks that he's better than others, which is like brings conflicts. And now what's happening in Sudan right now, it's cause of this tribalism. Everyone thinks that he's better than the other, and then they started fighting. It's just something that unbelievable. So for me, I need to talk more about social change. We need a social change. Sudanese should face each other and talk about their mistakes. There is no a lot of people who really knows like what's podcast. Like sometimes I tell people that I'm doing podcast, and they will be like, what is podcast? What is that? Is it a radio? I will be like, no, it's not a radio. It's like you do this and you do that. So you started. So in general, most of the people, even in the city, even in Khartoum, there is like a lot of people who doesn't know anything about podcasting, let alone the people who lives in suburb areas. So one of the challenges is the reach, the target audience that are going to listen to you, if they know what's going on or not. And also we have the internet connection problems. technology, like not a lot of people are really involved in the technology. They don't know like how to use phones, and I guess those people are like they're the perfect audience to target them, because you need to wear awareness about different things, about environment, about social change, gender, equality. So this is one of the challenges. And also, like for podcasters, for someone like me, it's the equipments, the right equipments to find, and sometimes also the right knowledge, to produce like a really rich content, good content. Me myself, honestly, I did not suffer because like I had a friend who had a studio, and they did everything for me. But some other podcasters are really suffering, producing. Of course, like there is too many restrictions in Sudan, and it's a security country, so you cannot talk about anything. Something that if once you talk about them, alas, you will get caught, and then you will never they will never see you again. Your family will never see you again. Also, right now, like after the with this war going on, there is no freedom of speech. Journalists are suffering a lot. Yeah, too many restrictions, also many taboos, like there is a lot of stuff that you cannot talk about in Sudan. I think other Arab countries are way developed than Sudan when it comes to taboo themes, like Tunisia, Egypt, for an example. You can talk about gender, sensitivity, you can talk about this, but in Sudan you cannot. They see you as an infidel if you talked about this. And if we're talking about the opportunities, of course, if anything new is always nice, and also people are curious to know about new things, and it was really like really going well, like really growing in Sudan. Like there was like a couple of youth were thinking of like doing their own podcast, but they didn't only think about it; they already did it.